And you know, we've got quite a team that's familiarity from last year really, and it's good because a lot of the kids were coming through last year, and we knew it was a 2-year project really with a lot of the kids, and Lane's no different. You know, he's been out in Australia, he's improved a lot, and we knew he could do it from what we've seen here at the Adrian Flux Arena. He scored 11 points against Mildenhall. He got some fantastic races, and I believe with him it was always about confidence. He'll have a lot more confidence. He's only actually been in Speedway a couple of years. Comes in on a 3-point average, which is an absolute steal. And I think that a lot of teams were after him, but thankfully he's one of ours, and I think we'll see big strides, and the work that he's put in over the last 12 months, both in this country and in Australia, will pay dividends, and we'll see him make good strides in 2016. You know, Ryan came in from our Midland Development League setup and did a bit of both last year. And ironically, he starts at reserve, but he was actually a He leader for a little while last year. Finished the season with 17 points here against Cradley and 12 points at Buxton. I think that showed his progression. You know, the first time he went to Buxton, he failed to score. He knew what he did wrong. He upped his game and went back and top scored with the Young Stars along with Tom Stokes when we won last day of the season. So he's going to be a massive, massive weapon at reserve, and he offers us so many different options early doors, and I'm sure he'll be a big thorn in everyone's side when they come here all the way from home. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Scott put over a point on his average last year, which goes a little bit unnoticed, but he brings a lot more to the team. You know, he's 25 now. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he brings to the team, and he's a big help for the youngsters as well. Very solid rider, very underrated rider here at the Adrian Flux Arena, and he's quite capable of scoring you double figures very easily here, and again that goes unnoticed because there's so many other big hitters last year, but brings that stability again. Been here a while. Good captain, took over a full-time captain last year and really grew in the role, and wants to carry on in Speedway in the future and build on what he's got here. So I think, you know, again, good solid rider to have and good, you know, team man to have in the pits. He rode in 2013 in what was a fantastic side. When you look back, you know, like the Lewis Kerrs, Robert Lamberts. Came back after a bit of a spell out and started on a 4-point average and finished on a 6. So good, solid progression. If you look at his average home and away, it was very similar. Again, brings you stability in the middle part of the team. Invested a lot of money this year in equipment. He'd be the first to say he didn't really invest last year at the beginning of the year because nobody really knew how it would work out. But he's invested in bikes and engines this year, and I think he'll be, you know, a real force. He was number 1 before an injury at Hackney, and there's no reason why he can't get back to those levels. And the commitment that he's shown, I think, is outstanding. Again, he's been around a little bit, and he helped massively with the likes of Ryan Kinsley last year with helping the pits and gating. And you know, I fully expect that to happen again this year. He's our pocket rocket. You know, he's a fantastic rider, carries an enormous amount of speed. A couple of times last year it got him in trouble because he does carry a lot more speed into the bends than a lot of riders. You know, he's not the finished article still by a long way. He knows he needs to improve on his gating, his consistency on his gating, which he's been doing over the winter. He's been doing a lot of riding. He's going to be in the Premier League as well with Scunthorpe, and that will bring him on leaps and bounds. But around here he's, you know, fantastic, and he's a real force, and he'll be certainly up there at the end of the season fighting for the number 1 spot. I think, to be fair, if it hadn't been for the improvement of Josh and Ryan, you know, everyone would be singing Tom's praises. He started out as number 5, second heat leader, rode at number 5 for nearly all season, apart from when he rode at number 1. You know, put quite a big chunk on his average, but did that in the hardest possible positions. You know, he's riding against the number 1 and the number 5 in every other team 2 or 3 times a meeting. So often rode in heat 15, and so often, you know, got results in heat 15. So a bit disappointed he hasn't got a Premier League, although he's going to tie up just down the road with the Panthers as a number 8, which is good, and that will be good for him, experience, and it will see a different setup as well for him. I think if he carries on working hard, you know, he will definitely get a ride in the Premier League. But he knows what he's got to do. He's probably about a point away from being able to command a Premier League spot, and he knows that, and he knows what he's got to do. Again, he's invested in new equipment. He will start at number 1, and in his eyes he is the number 1, and he wants to keep it, which is good for healthy competition between the other riders. But yeah, very underrated, bags of ability, massive heart and determination, and yeah, I think it will be a good season for Tom. I'm very, very pleased to have Nathan. It's strange that he came to us phone call last year, how it started when he was injured. He came and did some practice in here and very much wanted to be part of what we're doing at Kings Lynn. You know, sometimes in Speedway people are accused of running for the money, and it's not always about the money. Money helps them. You know, we don't have the biggest budget here, but what we do is offer them other things with track time and support and help. And Nathan's a rider that's got, like you say, he's been in there and done it in a very short space of time. He's riding in the Premier League again with Sheffield, and he's going to be a busy boy this year. He's coming here for what he sees is his final year in the National League to really establish himself, and again that's going to create huge competition with the team, but healthy competition, and it adds massive weight for us in the latter heats, in the heats 13 and 15 potentially. And you look at him, you look at Josh, you look at Tom, you look at Ryan, you know, and Shane and Scott. Any one of those guys could be, you know, fighting for the #1 position and heat 15s. Add Lane into that mix as well, and it's a very good team. It's already been tipped to do well this year, and although I'm not a big one for the journalistic, you know, we always find it quite funny how we're always written off, but I think as ever you write Kings Lynn off at your peril this year, because it's probably going to bite you. Yeah, hopefully if we stay fit, I think we'll have a good season. Stoke's always interesting, it's always good battles. You know, I know Malcolm Vasey very well, he always puts together a decent team. As Eastbourne proved last year, you know, a fantastic team, good promotion, and they know what they're doing. So it'll be 2 tough meetings, but that's what it's going to be this year. It's an open league, some big clubs like we've just said, and points limit has gone up, so it's a stronger league overall. But I think ultimately, you know, what we're here to achieve has always been the progression of riders, and I think although sometimes it's measured in trophies and what you've done, when you look at what we've achieved as a club throughout our junior development, right from the Midland Development League up to the National League and the Elite League, there's not many, you know, riders that can say you look at your Elite League team and you've got 2 or 3 riders that are really homegrown. They've started out at the lowest level and now they're riding the Elite League for Kings Lynn, and that's what it's about for us, and that's what it will continue to do in the future.